when I first started gardening and preserving food, there was one thing I did not think about or consider whenever I was starting my garden. And I don't want you to make this mistake. And if you are a seasoned gardener, you might make this mistake or you might think I'm crazy. But before we get started, I'm Julia Ayers behind the camera, and we are the Canny Couple, a small homestead family in rural Virginia that work every single day to merge homesteading and frugality. And the number one mistake I made with my gardening is I never thought of my preserving season. I never thought of how long some of these lovely, beautiful vegetables we're going to take to actually process and preserve. And I know a lot of people wouldn't think about this or care. They would be more concerned about what does it taste like? What does, how much does it yield? All of these things. I will tell you, yield is number 2 for me. It will always number 2.
Which is switched.
Yeah, which is switched. Yield used to be number 1. Yield is number 2. Processing time is number 1. All day, every day. And if you are trying to preserve a lot of food for your family like I am, that should also be your number 1. And and that's what this video is about, what you need to look for when you're looking for what to preserve. So one of the big things I'm going to talk about are tomatoes. And this, I might lose some followers here. I might lose some people. So we actually stick to only a few types of tomatoes. There are certain types of tomatoes that we no longer grow specifically because we've had a hard time with them, or they've been really hard for me to process in the past, or they just don't make a lot of sense for our family. So we are not a family that actually just gets a tomato off the vine, cuts it up, and eats it. We're not. Aaron might eat one, but we just don't really eat them like with a salad or anything like that. Aaron might eat some tomatoes.
Yeah, I was going to say he eats tomatoes now.
He eats tomatoes. He does like those, and that's fine. They're a bit of a pain, especially those little bitty spoon ones. They were a bit of a nightmare. I still have some more to do because they were free, and they came from Baker Creek. They were free ones.
They were the free variety last year.
They were the free variety last year. They were prolific. Amazingly prolific, and they grew to be like 10 feet tall. But my word, they are teeny tiny.
Hard to clean.
And very hard to clean. The stems, took forever to get the little stems off. So I would not buy those because of how hard they were to clean. What I look for in a tomato is size. I want uniform in shape. I like aromas, even if they're small. I actually recently, we bought one or put one on our list from Baker because it was longer. It's thicker. It's more like a paste tomato. It doesn't have a lot of seeds in it. So it's made more for somebody who cans tomatoes, which is what I do with my tomatoes. I don't like bumpy tomatoes. We don't do Brandywine because they tend to grow less uniform. Heinz tomatoes are really good for us because they tend to stay uniform in shape.
And that's what they were designed for.
That's what they were designed for. That's what we look for when we grow just about anything. We grew these cucumbers.
They weren't really.
They were really cucumbers, but they were in the cucumber family. We got them from Buffalo Seed Company. They were called Kiowaka.
I don't know how you say it.
I can't say it, but it began with a K.
ONA or something.
ONA or something like that.
Yeah.
I cannot pronounce it. I never cut one open. And I told Aaron, I said, if you want one, that's fine. I'm not doing it. Because the thing, it's this big, but the spikes on it are this long. Yeah. And it's not like a spike every, inch. There's a spike every centimeter. It was covered in spikes. There was no way I wasn't going to hurt myself trying to get into this. And I told him, I said, I'm not growing these again. I'm not growing things that are going to cause me harm.
Or take a long time.
Or take a long time to process. I will not grow watermelons that have too many seeds.
It's
not worth it.
It just takes too long.
It takes too long. I grow tromboncinos, squash. They're not our favorite to eat, just cooked, but they're good baked. We eat them in a lot of like baked pumpkin bread and things like that, or in pumpkin pie in a different way like that. But if I were to like cut it and eat it like with sweet potatoes, we don't really care for them that way. But the reason I like them is because they get so long, and there's no seeds in the length of them, because all I have to do is peel them, and all you have is meat right there. You have nothing else you have to worry about for processing. So whenever I look at anything anymore, I look at processing. Aaron actually showed me carrots. They were these little bitty carrots. And he's like, these look good.
They were round.
They were round. They were small little round carrots. He's like, these look good. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, what do you think of these? I said, they look hard. They look hard to clean. And he's like, do you really think so? I said, they look like little new potatoes. He's like, but they're not hard to clean. I'm like, yes, they are. You don't have to clean them. And then he's like, oh, okay. And he kind of defers to my opinion on that. New potatoes are about one of the few things that I will kind of defer to, because he loves them so much.
They're so good.
They're so good, especially the way I cook them. But he does love them, and they are good. And it was just one of those things, when you look at it, you can just automatically tell that this is going to be difficult to function and work with. Those little bitty cucumbers, like trying to actually process those.
Oh, the Mexican
the gherkin.
Gherkins, yes.
Yes, and they have like little lemon ones, things like that. Or even the tomatoes that are made to be bumpy. Like I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, I get tomatoes that come in all at the same time. And we grow hundreds of tomato plants because we need to can a lot of tomatoes, because we eat a lot of tomatoes throughout the year. So if I need Aaron's help, he's going to miss rot in one of these tomatoes. It's very likely, because what we do is we put them in the freezer, and I just see this being like a hidey hole for rot in the tomato itself, because it's kind of made to have like these little folds in it, and it looks beautiful and interesting, but it also looks like it's more difficult to keep clean and to hide, bad spots and things like that in it.
I mean, if you're just eating them for pure eating,
if you're pure eating, that's completely different.
But we're talking
processing. If you are focusing on processing, that's what we're looking at. And that's what we do. I actually bought from Emma Gardner. I got a pumpkin, and I bought it specifically because it looked like it was going to be easy to process. When I saw it, I told Aaron, I said, I want this pumpkin. And he looked at it. He's like, that looks like it was going to be really easy to process. I said, that's why I want it, because it's all in the neck. Mm-hmm. It's a long-necked pumpkin. And it's not a squash, it's an actual pumpkin. Well, it is a squash, but it's a pumpkin. Yeah. So we got it specifically for that reason. So if you are like me and you are looking to preserve most of your garden, you're looking to eat it, but you're also looking to preserve most of your garden, this is one of the things you have to think about. Yes, there's lots of fun food out there, and they have so much fun stuff. They got so much fun stuff out here. But my word, how many hours in the day do you have to spend in here and look and cook and clean? Like, we don't have all this time to do this. Like, we don't. I don't have all this time to do this. I want to go to sleep. I want to go to sleep. I want to read a book. I want to go play with the baby. I want to do something else, instead of having to spend all my time processing, cleaning, and taking care of all this food. So just think about that on the front end versus the back end, and that will really save you some time. And also, as you are working through your food, when you buy it, not when you buy it, but when you grow it and you preserve it, make those decisions on the fly. When I get a melon and I don't like it, I think it has too many seeds, I will take it off the list immediately. I'm like, nope. Off the list, Aaron. I don't care how good it is. If you want it, you're processing it. So that usually means it's not on the list anymore.
Yep.
So If you like this kind of content and you want to see more from us, please leave a comment down below. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you check out our link tree where you'll see all of our other content. And as always, thank you for joining us on the Canny Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.